we're live. Tell your friends you're listening to the Verhoeven Effect podcast. I'm Conlon.
I'm Nathan.
We have another very special episode. We have the 1977 movie Damnation Alley. Nathan, do you have a history of Damnation Alley?
I believe I know I watched this on TV probably in the 80s because I would have been 3 when this came out. So,
Okay.
I thought for a long time it was a TV movie. I
It,
didn't realize this was a
well,
released movie.
well, that's
Just
what I'd say about this movie. It has a very TV energy to it. So
yeah. That's I just assumed it's like, oh, ABC made this weird, or whoever was presenting it. But
yeah.
no, this is an actual movie.
I mean, I maybe to its credit or not, it doesn't feel like a '70s movie, but it does feel like an '80s TV movie. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do remember watching this, and of course, it's like nuclear war, cool vehicles. This is right up my alley as a
yeah,
kid. This is like, oh yeah, I'm in the zone on this. Uh, and I remember watching it, and
Bugs eating Paul Winfield.
yeah, Bugs ate Captain Terrell. That's weird.
um, yeah, and didn't you pose this as like this is the unfortunate movie that gets compared to Star Wars because they came out the same year or something like that? Or
Well, not only did they come out the same year, they were made by the same company,
oh,
Fox.
okay, okay,
'Cause this movie had, believe it or not, this movie had a $17 million proposed budget, and Star Wars was being made, produced at the same time. But this had an 11-month editing and special effects cycle because half the movie's budget got siphoned away so Star Wars could do reshoots and advertising and
oh,
stuff.
okay, huh?
So that's how these things. Because the reason this movie looks so bad is they tried everything. Because the guy who did this, the guy who directed this, like he directed like Airport 75. What else did he do? Jack Smite's his name. He did Midway. He did. So this guy knows how to make movies. But this movie was considered, as they put it together, it was called. They said this is going to be a very challenging movie to film, but they tried to film it using the best techniques they had at the time. Like for instance, the scorpion scene across the desert. They made 8 foot tall rubber scorpions. It looked terrible.
Yeah,
So then they decided, it's like, oh, we'll just composite all this stuff in like post,
yeah,
which is like, that's fine. That was movie making back then, but not when you like, oh, the budget we thought we had to do that is gone. So now you just have to do it as quickly as possible. And like the sky effects in the movie, like those were really, they spent a lot of the special effects
yeah,
budget on those, but they were not composited in correctly. That's why everything looks weird about it. It's a cool effect.
yeah, yeah.
It wasn't a
It's
symbol.
it seems
Well,
to be it seems to be scene for scene whether it'll be good or not. There's like the one where it's like Paul Winfield's like standing on top of his weird like concrete hutch thing, and
yeah,
like you see this guy in the background, and it's like okay, somebody unfortunately had to do like 20 hours of rotoscoping and they still fucked it up.
yeah,
But then there's one scene that's like, oh wow, it's kind of like you can see the sky and it looks like the sky is reflecting in the Landmaster, but really it's just that they made one more translucent and it's just bleeding through, and it's like, oh okay, never mind. So,
yeah. This movie was bedeviled with like Steve McQueen was going to play the lead at one time, but he wanted like way too much money, and yeah, but this movie was basically shot and filmed as a like regular movie, conventional movie for that time, and then the director was taken out of control of it for a while because the studio executives wanted to. I was like, oh, we want to make it look different. We want to do different things with it. So it was kind of edited by a committee, and then they brought the director back. It's like, can you finish the special effects? It's like, yeah, sure. We got like $6 million to. No, you got like $600,000 now. It's like, where'd the rest of the money go? Oh, to Star Wars. That's going to make a lot of money. It's like, oh no. So, and then the process of developing the script on this was wild. So yeah,
yeah,
there's a
I
lot
mean,
of
yeah, I'd say the
this.
script on this movie is very poor. So
Yeah, it's Yeah, this movie misses a lot of other than just having a certain cool factor. It's like, yeah, in all the places that you would judge a movie by, like this movie's terrible. It's also fun to watch. Um, I was when I was looking up research, like there was a professor at a film school that like this is in a book about how not to make a movie. This is how not to let the if you let the studio run away like that, just be like, yeah, I'm done. I fulfilled my contract. Like, don't ever try to fix a movie when they do stuff like this to it because you can't fix if it's so far off the rails, you can't fix it in editing.
Yeah.
Just throw more action scenes in, which is do and do the weird skylight effect. And it's like, yeah, that'll sub for character development and the story.
I mean, yeah, it does have kind of a weird, like, I mean, this is before even Star Trek the motion picture, but it kind of has that feel to it. But also, you could go back to like 2001: A Space Odyssey, where it's just like, we're gonna hold on these moments and like let you see the landscape. um, but then have characters that are basically blanks.
Yeah. And
and
it's
dot
not that they weren't good actors either. It's just like this is what they were given to work with.
Yeah, or and people die all of a sudden, and then we have like third act introductions of characters because we're kind of picking up this caravan, and it's only an hour and 30-minute movie, so there's like, yeah, this movie had this feels like a long TV episode rather than a expensive movie. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
it's weird. But like I said, for a long, I thought it was a TV movie when I was a kid. I thought it was a TV movie when I was in my 20s. I was like, oh, this was in theaters? Okay. I thought this was something that just they picked up.
the writers on it aren't bad. You got um, Alan Sharp, who did like Night Moves, like before he wrote this movie, which that's
Yeah.
that like that kind of we watched that one time. It's that weird Gene Hackman and like um where he's like, what is he, like an alcoholic detective? There's James Woods in it and Melanie
Oh,
Griffith.
the conversation.
No, this is Night Moves.
Oh, Night Moves.
Yeah.
Uh, see if I can remember that one. Oh yeah, this was where it's like they're down in the Florida Keys at some
Yeah.
point, and he's an ex football player.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was a good movie.
Um and he wrote like Rob Roy, which as far as I know, that's like a good movie. uh
That's one with Liam Neeson, right? Where he's the
yeah, I think so.
Swedish guy. Yeah,
And then the Austrian Weekend, which I don't think I've seen, but you talk about a lot.
yeah, that's a good movie.
So he wrote that. So yeah, he's written some good movies. Then the other guy is Luke Heller or Lucas Heller, which he wrote like The Dirty Dozen and a bunch of stuff like that. The Flight of the Phoenix, which I've only seen the remake of it, but I heard the original is better, so I gotta watch that sometime. So
Oh,
I really like the remake. So then if the original is better, then I gotta watch that sometime. Um, but yeah, it kind of just feels like a lot of like a lot of these guys seem like sci-fi people of the time because like people worked on different anthology shows and Twilight Zone and stuff like that. So
yeah, it
um,
seems like this was kind of the crew that would do this at that time.
and this is like and this is post A Boy and His Dog, but you can see like I'm not sure if this influenced it at all. I can't remember when the book came out. Either of them, because this is also a book. Did you ever read the book, or didn't even bother with that at all? So
I mean it's a Roger Zelazny book. I remember it came out in a magazine. It
okay,
was published as a short story, and then they're like, "Hey, make this into something longer." And I do remember I've read it, but it's been a while
okay.
because I was looking around, like, can I find the original of that? Because I remember in that book it was like, oh, this guy's like Snake Plissken, like the main character is more like
Well,
a
on the cover of the book, he's like got a motorcycle, and it's like a future motorcycle or something like that in the wasteland or something. So, but that's
yeah, and
just
I
the cover. I'm not sure if that's the
think his
story.
first name is Hell too, or something. It's yeah. Yeah, and the
I found a copy on Internet Archive. I just never read it. It's not really that long, but I didn't read it regardless.
it's
So.
kind of like a novella at this point. But I know it's like, what is it like? There is a it's like Los Angeles and is a city state, and like Boston is another. And it's kind of like Judge Dredd, like, yeah, between them is the cursor through
Okay, yeah,
bring the cure through Damnation Alley because there's a plague in Boston or something. And
yeah. Okay.
but I remember when I read it, I was thinking like, this is a oh, what is it? This is like a this is like, yeah, this kind of like Escape from New York almost.
Yeah. Okay.
It's that kind of vibe. So yeah, basically completely altered for the movie.
I don't know. The movie's like weirdly upbeat. It's like, well, it's the apocalypse, but there's magically no radiation until it's until it is. So that's um, and everyone's having a good time except for the hillbillies. So.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's pretty upbeat.
Well, you're either dead or you're having a good time. Um. Yeah, that was the Harry Strading Jr. shot this, which he's got some interesting credit. Like he did like Little Big Man, which that was like a pretty big movie. Um, throwing Caddyshack 2 there. What was it? Oh yeah, maybe he's most infamous. I'm not sure, but he shot Mitchell. Do you know what Mitchell is?
Why do I remember that?
Mitchell's probably it's like the Joe Don Baker like detective movie, and it's probably like the most famous Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode there is, besides like Manos Hands of Fate or something.
Okay, yeah, I remember this. They keep saying his name a lot. They yell it because
Yeah.
it's like the title of the movie is like his name with an exclamation point. Yeah, I remember that.
And they always do like like a Joe Don Baker kind of like bourbon burp as they talk and stuff like that. So it's quite funny. So shot Rooster Cogburn. Wasn't that the follow up to True Grit?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. But yeah, and Skyjacked, which that's the skyjacking airplane movie with Charlton Heston. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That was after. Right. We did all the airport movies too.
I didn't do all of them. I think we did one, but I think when I did that one, I brought up how many. There was like so many like skyjacking airport movies that came out that weren't just the airport movies. So.
Okay.
Which there was a lot in the 70s, but that's also like when the 747 came out, it just became this gigantic thing of like, oh, we got to put that in every movie.
Yeah, it's cool. It's the future.
Yeah.
Next to the moon.
So yeah, it came out October 21st, 1977. So I guess just in time for Halloween. So but yeah, I would say like I'm not sure how much this influenced like Fallout at all. That's more of like a boy and his dog kind of thing. But they do have the giant scorpions here, which they do. They have that in Fallout. The rad scorpions. Not sunglasses, just radiation. So
That's the only thing I think that made it from the book.
Yeah. Okay.
Was the giant scorpions. Or it was lethal insects were all throughout the book. I remember.
Okay.
Because the flesh-eating cockroaches and stuff were part of the. But I think they were as big as dogs. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
right. Okay.
It was something. But like I said, I'm vaguely misremembering the book. Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. The movie killed the book franchise as well. I don't know the writer. I don't know.
Well, this movie is like desperately. You could remake this into something.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even need to make like just those weird Oshkosh like support vehicles they have now. Like those look futuristic. They've been making those since the 90s, like the Himmets and stuff like that. Like you don't even need to make a special vehicle.
So I guess we'll get into it. We got Act 1, 123rd Strategic Missile Wing, Tipton Air Force Base, California. We get the titles Damnation Alley. If we look over like a computer-based command center, so basically kind of a a light NORAD here, so I've had a bunch of those
They
lately.
actually built this huge set out in the California desert too.
Okay.
It was actually an expensive set they had to build because it wasn't all miniature. So some of it, the guys had to move around in. So
Yeah, it just kind of looks like a few concrete walls and then an implied, missile base. So I guess,
yeah,
it's supposed to be hidden, I guess. So, we do have like I'm not sure if it was that they have a picture of the world, like a globe. Is that supposed to be like satellite footage or just a picture of the globe?
I'm not sure what it is. That's the famous like map of like the NORAD, like because it takes out like the what do they do maps like that? Because
Oh,
it
the
takes out
Mercator projection.
yeah, it like takes that distortion out because it's like no, the missiles are coming from above us.
Yeah,
It's
and
like that's how they make it look.
yeah, yeah.
That's a pretty famous map. It's like this is where the attack actually comes from.
But
It's
it
over
like
the North Pole.
yeah, but like it looks sort of photo real or whatever. So I didn't know if it's like, is this supposed to be like a satellite photo or is this just like, just
I think
yeah?
it's supposed to be like a futuristic screen.
Okay, all
It's like this is what the Air Force has because they can spend $1 million
right.
screen as big as a football field. Turns out they can't and they don't, but that's what everyone thought for a long time.
Well, they can afford so many other things. So I don't know. It's weird that they don't. So, um, we got a couple of airmen walking through the security. This is Tanner, played by Jan Michael Vincent, who was kind of
Yes.
like, they tried to make him something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing he did after this was like Airwolf,
Okay.
the TV series.
Okay, that
The
makes sense.
helicopter, and he actually did a pretty good job on that.
He just kind of has this surfer dude vibe to him, so I don't know.
He's a
Uh,
Colorado guy. He had a real bad drinking problem
yeah.
from the time he was very young until he died. And it actually they had some incidents on this set where it's like, where did he go? We have to find him. We're filming now. He just wandered into the desert drunk.
And then we got Denton, played by George Peppard. Or Peppard? I don't know. I think I've heard Peppard. I'm not sure.
I just call him George Papard. He's the guy from the A Team for me.
He's Hannibal from A-Team, yeah. So,
Yeah, that's what I think of it.
which I didn't even recognize that. So until I looked it up, it's like, oh, that's right. No, because the name sounded familiar. He doesn't really have like a big catalog, but it's like, oh yeah, he was in a big '80s action series. So,
Yeah,
essentially the lead, I guess. I don't know. They talked to Keegan, played by Paul Winfield, who's like also an airman, but he's like an artist, and
yeah.
he's like an enlisted guy, and he like hands them their guns when they go to like the missile base. Um, this is even this is even pre War Games, so
Yeah.
so this is so that scene in War Games, they kind of took it from here, I'm guessing. So
Yeah, the director's commentary on War Games, they ask him like, "Where did you get this stuff?" And it's like this is kind of like generally known or assumed stuff that goes on in missile silos because they actually don't know.
oh
But
yeah,
there's
yeah, we talked about that before. Like in every movie where it's like, how do you launch a missile, and they make it seem like it's this very complicated process where it's like cryptography and all this stuff, and for every movie it's just made up and stolen off the backs of other movies, and like,
yeah,
well, now everybody knows this is how it works. So, and then it's like, well, no, actually nobody knows how it works, and if they did, they'd be in jail. So.
yeah, they're not supposed to talk about it. Because actually somebody published a book about like what's it like being a silo man in the U.S. Air Force, and it's like, oh, it's career death. It's like buddy, like for officers or whatever, it's like, yeah, you're just parked there
Yeah,
because you're just waiting around for the worst thing ever to happen, and then that's it.
yeah.
It's like once you do your service, it's a wrap. But there's nothing else afterwards. Like, oh, I'm a general now, general of the apocalypse. And they had a huge problem with drug abuse because of boredom and things like that, alcoholism, and people beating up their wives, and there's crazy stories that came out. Now they've cleaned that up quite a bit, but yeah, it was like it's actually frightening when people It's like, what can you talk about? It's like, what will I not go to prison for the rest of my life for? Oh yeah, the colonel was a drunk and things were control, and maybe we didn't have the best security all the time, but nothing bad happened. Nobody fired any missiles, so that's a win. Yeah, but I guess that was in the 70s and 80s. It got really out of
Okay.
control. So I don't know now. Now it's probably
Yeah, you can throw an Xbox in there and like
yeah,
stave off boredom. So
it's like we're just going through the motions. I mean, the things that did get revealed were like meant to be shocking. It's like this is the program that runs the missile, and it was like one of those floppy disks that goes in a pizza box, and it's like the guy puts that in and click and it's like, yeah, we still use this stuff. So either they were bullshitting on a galactic level, or like the one guy pointed out, it's like you can't hack that stuff.
no.
It's too old.
It's
Can't do it. It will
not
only
online. No one knows how to use it.
well, no, it is on. They are connected. That's how they get their orders.
Okay.
But they kept it so simple, and they just kept using that technology. It's like, well, the job here is big, not involuntarily launching a nuclear missile. So once we find something that works, we're sticking with that, because it's like there's no innovation in that. I mean, the missiles we have are like, oh God, the Minuteman's all we have now, and it goes back to the 60s.
Yeah.
So we haven't changed it. Now the stuff that's really secret is, hey, what goes on the nuclear submarines? It's like nothing. It's a black hole.
What are you talking about? We have attack submarines and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, because remember, Tom Clancy, the only nuclear launch ballistic missile submarine he wrote about was a Russian fictional one. He wrote all about the American attack submarines, not the ballistic missile submarine, because his kind of inclusion in that club was not extended to that because it's too damn secret, because that is our actual nuclear deterrent, is that.
Yeah.
Because they can pop up anywhere and shower you with nuclear missiles and leave. And that's and you can't retaliate, because by the time you detect them, they're going off. So that's why we put all our money into that, and the rest of these things are just stuff. Every 10 years we have a treaty, and it's like, yeah, we'll eliminate 20 of those. What about your nuclear missile submarines? They don't exist. What are you talking about?
Find them.
Yeah, show me where they are, and I'll eliminate them. We don't even reveal what they cost, like the budgets on them. Someone told me once, it's like, well, those are more expensive to run than aircraft carriers. I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, all the subsystems that have to support those, it's like, those are crazy expensive. It's like, that doesn't sound right.
I mean, they all have nuclear, they're all nuclear, have nuclear
power
doubled. Plants on them.
Yeah, they got 2 nuclear reactors and a bunch of missiles. But yeah. They feature a lot of missiles. Well, go ahead. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
But yeah, we show that Keegan draws realistic pencil drawings just so that he's a good artist, and then like Tanner's kind of like, why did he join the Air Force and stuff like that, which I guess be almost a character development thing later on, but like pretty much every character in this movie has no character development, or it happens within their introduction. So I mean, the most you get is Tanner, because like here he's like an airman, and then after in Act 2 he's basically like a drifter who's 10 feet from the base, who's like quit the Air Force to like basically do the same thing but just not be considered in the Air Force. And that's his character development. He's like a hippie man, because here he also, like, he's got long hair in the movie, but here he's got tucked up under a hat, presumably. So.
Right. Yeah, that's what we're seeing. And Major Denton's just a stick up his ass.
Yeah.
Who's like the classic. It's like, yeah, I don't like the cut of your jib,
Yeah, he basically says, I've applied for a roster change. Is like, I don't like how he doesn't like something about Tanner, and he never tells him what it is. But that's their whole like.
We never. It's just one of the huge problems with this movie. It's like there's no one. Everyone's just kind of a static character.
Yeah. So yeah, they run a changeover with a couple of guys, so they got to sit in the seats to watch the missile launcher stuff. We cut to the NORAD screen, and the world map starts lighting up, and they suggest it might be a satellite reentry, and then they just like start getting a message of a bunch of numbers, and everybody's kind of looking at it. It's like it's authentic, and then like they open up some cases and then put some keys into to launch, and then we see interceptor missiles are launched at the presumably Soviet missiles. That's the only one that's gonna have that. The order goes out to launch counter missiles, which that's the missiles at this air base. Um, and so the air base launches their missiles. So we just get a bunch of shots of like missiles going off here.
Well, we get a bunch of stock footage
Yeah,
because
yeah.
again, this is that post. We're gonna fix it in post stuff that never because they were gonna develop like they were gonna do those missile shots kind of like they did in the day after because they used a lot of stock footage in that too, but they also used a couple original like you could kind of see a Minuteman going up and it's in a farm field and everyone's like, "What's going on?" It's like you didn't know there was a missile silo there, and they they wanted to do that here, but all they could afford is the just government license free stock footage.
Yeah,
So they're shooting Minutemen, they're shooting Titan missiles, which are
yeah.
liquid fueled missiles. Or that's different. It's like we're shooting those out of the same area. Um, oh, what else were they? Were they shoot? Well, it was a couple different shots of Titan missiles, the older and the newer.
Well, we have our presumably Russian missiles getting shot down as well, but
Yeah,
I actually don't know what missiles those are. So
yeah. We never know who the enemy is in here. We can always assume it's the Ruskies.
well, it's also just like I mean, I guess maybe it's an interesting way to play it, but there's like no emotion to this scene whatsoever, which is the end of the world.
Yeah, for Denton and this other guy for Denton to be like I said to stick up his ass, hard ass guy, and the other guy's kind of hippie. It's like turn launch key. Like there's no one's like questioning. It's like turn launch key. I have launch indications. Yes, I concur. And it's like, yeah, we just killed 50 million people. Go upstairs and have a smoke. Yeah, because at least in like war games, like the guy did have to pull the gun out and it's like turn your key, not there's
No.
but there wouldn't be because you weed people out for that.
Yeah,
I mean, the guys that you put in there to do that, they're gonna do it. That's what they need.
Yes, some of the missiles are intercepted. We see the northern part of America is hit with nukes in the global map thing there. Then we kind of cut to footage of just nukes going off.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the map, and we basically see every major city in the United States is hit with a nuke, or presumably so. Although it doesn't seem like Salt Lake was hit with a nuke, but it was hit with other things. It was affected by nukes. So yeah, that's basically the end of Act One, the end of the world. So,
That's where it starts.
an emotionless end of the world.
Yeah, because there was no counterforce strike on this base. They just sent all their missiles, and it's like,
So
let's
we're
hang out.
done. Yeah.
The interceptors got the ones that were coming for us.
There's nobody like contemplating like woe is me. This is or it's giving the gravity of the situation. It's like, well, we made our beeps go after their beeps, and now nobody can communicate ever again. So
Yeah, see, this is what you call a Hollywood nuclear attack too, which is like the point of war games. It's like because in this attack, essentially, we're going to say the Soviet Union fired everything they had in one giant burst.
yeah,
and forcing us to just reply with everything we had.
yeah,
It's like suicide.
yeah.
Nobody does that. But for the purpose of movies, it's like, yep, this happened. This moved on. That's why I said it's like, well, the first guys to be hit would be these guys. You wouldn't go straight to counter value where you're just trading cities because that's called the death rattle of nuclear war. It's like, New York for Moscow, and then we just go down the list. It's like, everyone hold hands and die together.
So that's in Act One. We got Act Two. We get a shot of the Earth, and it has like a red glow around it. Presumably it's just the irradiated sky now. And so we're on Earth, and we see the irradiated sky, which we have this like very interesting looking kind of like like light storm and radiation happening at the same time, which is like it is a cool looking effect. So
Yeah.
and it changes color, which I don't think they like have a reason for it other than just like change it up. But like it's red here, it's green sometimes, it's blue sometimes. So
Yeah, it was kind of built around the concept of what if the aurora borealis was everywhere.
right, okay, all right.
That's what they were thinking. That's what they were going for. It's like, yeah, what if the Earth was so, oh, I don't know how you'd say. Yeah, it was just so disrupted atmospherically that like this became normal.
And then we get titles. The Third World War left the planet shrouded in a pale of radioactive dust under skies lurid and angry and a climate gone insane. Tilted on its axis, which that's new. I've never seen a nuclear war cause a tilt of the Earth, so that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a new one. Yeah.
Which presumably that's yeah, these are magical nukes. They don't have like radiation problems. It's just the tilt of the Earth is causing all the problems. So
Some of the problems, yeah.
that's what I mean. When you get to the end of the movie, that's what they suggest. It's all if we just get the Earth back in line, everything will be fixed, and that's exactly what happens. Which makes no sense, but whatever. So
Yeah.
it's simplistic. So you know.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, because here's the danger as understood, it by conventional people that it's like a nuclear war is like, yeah, all the nuclear bombs going off and all the dust in the air. Yeah, you got to stay hidden for years, a couple of years for that to go down. But the real nasty stuff is like your nuclear power plants that got hit and stuff. Like those are still emitting massive amounts of radiation.
Yeah.
And those are all over the United States. There are actually more of those in the United States the time this movie was made than there are now. And then there's like, where are you getting water and all?
Yeah,
This?
all your water's radiated. Your skies are gonna be filled with the radiation and dust. Like I don't know how long that's gonna stay in the air. That's gonna block the sun. So now you have no crops. Crops are gonna die from radiation anyways, or mutate to grow into something else. Who knows? There's all sorts of problems.
In this movie, though, they're smoking cigarettes, using gasoline. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't see someone drinking milk. It's like,
Yeah.
where are they getting all this stuff? This shit would be gas is no good after about 2 years.
Yeah.
It's definitely not good if you're, if it's penetrated with ionized radiation, because then it just starts to break apart. Unless, now maybe when this movie was made, leaded gas was still more common. I've heard that lasts longer. But
I heard you can. Oh, what is it? You can take kind of like, or maybe it's diesel that can last forever, but you can like filter diesel and it'll still work even like years later or something like that. But I can't remember.
diesel's not actually that hard to make either.
Yeah.
You just need access to raw oil and some if you can make a still, you can make small amounts of diesel fuel.
But that's always like a thing with these apocalypse movies because it's the only thing that makes sense is that like, oh, you just, well, millions of people are dead now, but there's still these resources laying around, and so the few left can maybe survive on the resources for like decades, and that's not necessarily true, but that's how these movies kind of are played out for simplicity's sake rather than like going, because otherwise you're just making threads where it's like, well, this is sad.
Yeah. He's dying horribly. Off checklists while they do it. How ironic.
And so yeah, here they just kind of, it's just like, yeah, everyone, they don't bother with the like, how's everyone surviving? So they just do. Because there's no way that lady in Las Vegas would be alive. So, and not horribly like assaulted all the time. And so and of course they bring that up later on in the movie. It's like, oh yeah, this is the danger of being the woman in an apocalypse. So, because you have to do that, I guess. So, but everyone's seen Deliverance, so you bring the hillbillies in, so you know what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that was kind of the funny thing with Last Man on Earth is like it's a comedy, so it doesn't have to adhere to like kind of logic, but it actually does, which is like it's sad because they never got like I think it got canceled after the third season, but they were dealing with like they couldn't use gas anymore because it was starting to go bad,
Yeah.
and they had a nuclear power plant that had blown up and it was just spewing radiation, so like they couldn't go through the nuclear power plant cloud. It's like, well, we're all gonna die if we do that. So, um, and there was also the interesting bit where like the guy's brother was like stranded in space and he gets back to Earth and then just eventually succumbs to the plague that killed everyone. It's like, well, that's
Oh,
sad.
okay.
I don't know if you ever watched that. It was a great show. So
Yeah, I watched some of it. Yeah.
again, it's only got like 3 seasons. It did get a little like too dramatic as it went on, where it's like, yeah, I don't know how much funny, and I don't know how much funny is left of this franchise. And I don't know how much drama I want to be extracted out of this franchise, because it felt like it started out as like like a Naked Gun movie and was turning into like Breaking Bad. So it's like, I don't know. It makes it different. It just feels weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there other shows you can think of that like it starts as a comedy and then just gets way too much into the drama and kills itself?
I don't know. Well, I always thought like Breaking Bad, like kind of, it almost was funny at some points.
Oh yeah,
And then it got, because I think it wasn't that originally supposed to be a comedy?
yeah. I mean, it was definitely there was a lot of funny moments early on in the seasons, and as it got in the later season, it was just full drama. So
Yeah. Yeah. I do remember thinking it kind of had a light touch for like uh, the first part of the first season. Yeah.
yeah,
And then
because
once
like, but it's like, yeah, it's just
his girlfriend OD'd and he just kind of let it happen.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, this is
Yeah,
dark.
yeah, it starts get it stops being. Well, even that first season, that like he has to like kill that guy in like the third episode and like melt his body in a vat of acid or a tub of acid, and it's like, and he like, and he's regretful the whole time, and it's like, oh man, like because you like the Walter Light character at first because he's like in a bad thing, and he's just like, well, he's just using his skills to make money, and then he just starts doing bad things like to get ahead, and it's like, well, he's not a good person anymore, and maybe he never was, and that's kind of like the character study of the franchise. So
Yeah, it's kind of like you can never transcend original sin. What you originally did was so bad, just like making drugs that are just killing people and destroying their lives. It's like, yeah, you're marked with that from then until you die.
yeah,
Like you're not getting out of that one alive, because it's but that's like, yeah, that's like, because there was some like real biblical stuff in there. I don't know if that's what the writers and the showrunner meant, but I always saw that as like, yeah, he's marked by original sin.
yeah.
And it's also the sin of his society where a guy can't make a living and get cancer. Like, yeah, he has to do this stuff, which leads to his death and the death of hundreds of other people. Or yeah, probably. If
and,
you
yeah, and violent deaths.
and violent, yeah, not no one's dying in bed and Breaking Bad. Yeah, but I always thought that show kind of had a light touch. It's like, oh, this is a commentary about the failure of American civilization and kind of the how you peel through the crack, fall through the cracks, and get more desperate, and then it just goes full dark. It's like, oh, and now pretty soon it's like a David Lynch show. It's like, how's he going to kill all these people? It's like, oh, he's going to use something creative and bizarre, and we're going to have great music that's almost makes you sad just to watch the people doing stuff with the music playing. It's like, oh no.
So now, yeah, now you need a Breaking Bad where it's like the drugs he's making has no consequences.
Yeah. It makes people happy and more productive, and like the guy smokes crack and stops hitting his kid.
Yeah. Wait, why are we stopping this?
This should be everything. But then you find out like everyone just dies in 5 years.
Yeah.
Just die of euphoria.
Yeah.
Something even worse. It's like the price of happiness is death. It's like, huh? Oh God, what are we doing?
I mean, that's sort of what there's that cartoon. It's on Adult Swim now called Lazarus, which is sort of about that, where it's like this guy made this pharmaceutical drug that basically cured all diseases, and then he sent out a video one day saying like, hey, if anybody ever took this, you're gonna die in 3 years. And then there's a big investigation to find out where the hell this guy went, because he says he's the only one with a cure. So
Huh.
it's an anime, so let's see here. Tilted on its axis as a result of nuclear holocaust, the Earth lived through a reign of terror with storms and floods of unprecedented severity. When the epoch began to wind down, the remnants of life once more ventured forth to commence the struggle, survival, and dominance. This is the story of some of them. So then and I think it's just painting around like a dune landscape here, which I guess is just California, right? I'm not sure where they actually shot this, but
I think it
probably.
was. Let's see, shooting locations. Yeah, I think it's mostly California. Oh no, Nevada and Salt Lake City.
Okay, makes sense. That's where they actually shot some of this, or that's where they said they were going, so that makes sense. I guess we should talk about. So, where'd you see? You said you saw this on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, it's just all
And,
over YouTube.
okay, and you saw it in widescreen.
Yeah,
So I saw it on Amazon, and as far as I know, it was presented in 4:3. At least that's the way it looks. So be warned, I guess. There's also a Shout Video version of this, which usually Shout Video does like very kitschy, like in bad movies. Like that's where Mystery Science Theater releases their stuff, like in DVD formats. So it's in that milieu, but I didn't. So I just got on Amazon, and like I think I got a bad version of the movie. So oh well.
I actually got a pretty clean lift of the movie, and I was surprised.
Okay.
It's just here to watch. Like, okay,
Well, I didn't know if it was like there was like an extra tall format that came out with like probably in like the early '60s. Like I think for like epic movies like 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 Ben-Hur and stuff like that. The
yes,
Ten
yeah,
Commandments.
yeah,
And it was like an extra tall format. So sometimes when it gets presented on your TV, it's got the black bars, it's got the vertical black bars rather than the horizontal because it was shooting really tall. And so I didn't know if that was like intentional for this movie because they really want to show off the sky. But I guess not. I think it was just a chopped off version of the movie. So beware of Amazon's version. So you can go to YouTube for that or go to Shout Factory, use the link Greed Fact. No, I don't know. I guess that's a Verhoeven Effect. Sorry. We see Keegan is painting on a concrete structure, which is like, was this like a shack that's a part of the base that they let these guys live in or something like that?
I'm assuming it just looks like a concrete like node. Somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like in Command and Conquer when you blow up a part of a base, this is what's left of it.
Yeah.
Except this base never got blown up, but it will. We see a bike is riding over the sand dunes. Keegan climbs the tower with a rifle. Tanner shows up with a lady. There's giant scorpions, and he has to avoid them with his dirt bike skills, which is kind of ridiculous. But like you said, they just, they made these things, but they composited together, and it looks all kind of weird and obvious that it was it was an effect. But
Yeah, well, the thing was like they made 8-foot tall rubber scorpions to use in these scenes they weren't animatronic, but they were moving in a way.
you could shake them.
It was kind of supposed to be like an in-camera, like because they were going to do a lot of close-up shots of him, like whoa, they did, but I guess the scenes were filmed that it just looked so terrible. They're like, there's no way. So then they decided, like, well, again, we'll fix it in post. So they just kept those scenes, and then they composited real scorpions.
Oh, okay.
Rubber ones, and then like had them move. But the problem with it's like, yeah, because like the first Star Wars, like all those ships moving and all that was all like 70s. You needed a compositing machine to do that, which just took multiple pictures of the frame as you added stuff over it. And if you do it in a black background like they did in Star Wars, or it looks kind of cool. Like you don't necessarily see the lines or the loss of the sharpness, because the more pictures you take of this film that you're compositing something onto, the
more degradation you get. So
yeah, you get more degradation. That's it. Well, in this they had to do it so quickly, and every movement of the scorpion was like, take a picture, take a picture.
Yeah,
looks awful. And
one of the pinnacle of that was kind of for in-camera effects, where you print it all in this, you roll it back and you shoot it again. You roll it back and shoot it again, and there's like a printer kind of thing that puts it together. And Blade Runner, like that was kind of the king of that, and they did that for budget purposes. It was just cheaper to do it that way. but they
Yeah.
did an expert execution of it.
Yeah. It
But
was the
like,
best compositing guys in the world at the end of that era of technology coming together. It's like, what's the best way we can do it? Well, shoot it dark. Blade Runner, no problem. The whole thing black screen with faces on it, so we got it.
but like,
And
but I remember there was like a crazy thing with the guy who's doing the matte paintings. He knew like how many times they were going to roll it back and do a composite. So he
yeah,
knew exactly how his matte painting would degrade over the course of filming it. And so if you saw the matte painting, it would look like somebody who was colorblind painted it
okay.
because of like bright yellows and reds and all this stuff. And it's like, this is supposed to be a dark picture and he's hanging off the edge of a building. It's like, just you wait.
Yeah. Once we run that film back 1,000 times, yeah, this is gonna look right.
Yeah, and it's like, that's amazing. Nobody does that anymore.
No, like I said, we were basically getting a bunch of people together at the end of an era of technology, and like, what's the best way we can do this? We're talking Blade Runner.
For the money. They didn't want to do it that way. That's the way they had to do it for the budget. It's like, like it took a little bit more time, but ultimately it cost less money. So
That's why space and darkness were your friends at this time,
yeah,
because you could make a lot of things, just seem amazing.
yeah, the matte lines are easier to hide. So
Yeah. That's why Star Wars is like, I've never seen anything like that. It's like, yeah, because they're shooting it in space. It's, can hide a lot more.
yeah, here they don't get to hide anything. So
And they also had to do it with like whoever they could find for no money.
yeah.
That's why it looks so bad, and it does. It is really bad.
I wouldn't say it's so bad. It just, it's of its time. So
Yeah.
I mean, these scorpions look bad here. I'm talking about the sky. I think the sky looks good sometimes.
No, I'm okay with the sky.
Yeah.
And once I understand, it's like, no, the actual shooting of those effects was amazing. What they spent most of the there's two big things the special effects budget went on this movie: the Landmaster and the skies.
Yeah.
Because the vehicle that they build in a little bit, that's a real thing. Like, I think it still drives around to this day, or it's in storage. But and the skies was something that the studio added later.
Yeah.
And then, but they didn't add them. They filmed that effect, and they're like, "Hey, how much would it take to composite this in and make it look really good?" It's like, "Oh, $2 million." It's like, "I'll give you 10,000." Kind of what happened. So,
and also you have to know, like, in this, in was it 69 when 2001 Space Odyssey came out? Came out
Yes.
around the same time as the moon landing.
something like that, yeah.
That had amazing effects, but that was all hand done. That was all rotoscoping, and that was all people under the hateful, watchful eye of Stanley Kubrick.
The eye of God was upon them. And they didn't want to miss a brushstroke.
Now, again, they had space to their advantage, like you're talking about. You had a black background to your advantage, but that wouldn't save you if under Stanley Kubrick. And so you just put the man hours into that shit, and you got the result. Whereas now, in the 70s, you could technique your way through that and use less man hours to do it. So,
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, Tanner pushes the lady off the bike, so it's probably a mannequin. Which, yep, that's what's going on. As he gets up to the little bunkhouse thing, Keegan takes a couple of shots at him, like thinking he just killed somebody and left them to their death, which would be an interesting character development. It's like, this is how bad the world has gone. We're abandoning people to the death of scorpions. So.
I brought back cigarettes and Playboys, but I had to let the woman die. Everyone's like, that's good math. Okay. I can see that.
But no, our character isn't an irredeemable like bastard, so it's like, oh, okay, so this is the fun, easygoing apocalypse. So we have, trifle, Yeah, did he go out and get the Jack Daniels that they end up drinking? Is that what he said? He went to Barstow, so
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing whiskey would hold up over 2 years. This is like 2 years later, right? I think.
Yeah. No, yeah, it would.
Okay.
Again, it's like the radiation and contamination
Yes.
I would be more worried about, but
again, that's not really a factor in this movie.
No.
Unless they want it to be. It's a plot based factor, so.
well, yeah, it's like it's hinted at. It's like you know, we're going to go there through Damnation Alley. It's like, oh, it's where the radiation's low enough that we can get through all that.
Yeah.
So but that's again, that's like as much attention was given to that as I just gave it. It never comes. It's just like, oh, okay,
I mean,
and on.
I guess it's not too different from like adventure movies of the time where you just like you're going from part A, you're going from A to B, you pick up characters along the way, some people get lost. So it's not that difference. It's just this movie feels way more empty and bleak when it in its execution of it. So um so yeah, they're sitting in their hut or whatever. Tanner talks about going crazy as he drinks some whiskey. So like, he was talking to the mannequin as he's riding around. So it's just, you know, we have a pandemic of loneliness among the Air Force Base nerds here. So then we cut to some nerd shows up and has an argument with some guy. I can't remember what it's about, but
He was late for his shift.
okay, that's just that. Okay, he said I had to go see the general or something like that. And then what's their shift? They're just guarding these gas tanks with cigarettes.
I don't know exactly what like why, because shooting the Titan missiles, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. They would have casks of fuel that explosive.
Okay, I guess, yeah.
But yeah,
yeah, and
but
I guess
would not smoke around rocket fuel, and I don't have to be a scientist to know that.
yeah, they're under distress, Nathan. It's World War III, or I guess World War III's over. It's just the apocalypse. So, then we see Denton is fabricating something, which I thought was like, because you see the trailer, you see the Landmaster vehicle, like, oh, did he just build that whole thing in his free time? But at one point they just say it's something that the military is working on. So I don't know. Maybe he was just adding stuff to it. I don't know. So
he has blueprints.
Oh, okay.
Because they do make some concessions to logic. It's like, yeah, this was an Air Force project designed to be made because like people always talk about buying cool looking military vehicles,
Yeah.
like expert diesel mechanics and stuff. You watch them do it on YouTube and you realize those vehicles are a disaster.
Yeah.
Because there's no commonality of parts. They're not designed to be reliable. They're designed
No.
to do a job, and that comes first.
No, it is built in to a mechanic's like routine and budget that every part on a vehicle is replaceable. It is not meant to last 10 years. It's meant to be replaced constantly.
So if you buy like an Oshkosh, some kind of those weird futuristic trucks I was talking about, it's like, yeah, it takes a literal army of experts to keep it running.
Yes.
Because that's the system they're built into. You can't buy them and then ride out the storm. But these vehicles, he clearly says, these are designed to be repaired and built with civilian off-the-shelf parts.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's what's generally available, which, like, okay, that's a cool idea. So basically this is like supposedly a semi-truck drive line.
Okay.
With and he's building this from blueprints because he has nothing but time, and he must be like a mechanical genius as well as a missile guy.
Yeah,
so because building a vehicle from scratch is like,
I mean, he's an officer, so he's got some kind of degree, so
oh yeah, I mean, he's a smart guy. But I'm just trying to imagine, like, I've got nothing but time on my hands and a bin full of parts. It's like, could I do this? I said, well, I guess if I had nothing but
time. Then we cut to the nerd guy drops a cigarette on a Playboy, and then that causes all these gas cannons to blow up, and then basically the base just blows up. Like, and because Tanner and Keegan are like on this outskirt, like 10 feet away from the base, they're fine, but they go running in to show they're heroic, and they just watch a guy burn to death and then leave the base as the rest of it blows up. So that's the base gone. I mean, they do mention like the general's like an alcoholic, and we cut to him kind of like his shirt unbuttoned as he just dies in an explosion. So for like, it's like the 10 seconds of the drunk general we get. So
I forget, that guy played I think he played a big part, or a speaking part in the Airport movie and a bunch of other movies, but here he has almost no spoken words. He's just General Landers.
Okay. We get a green sky now, which is it night when it's green, or is it just green just because? I can't remember.
It seems to be both.
Okay.
I think green favors night.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh, Tanner talks with Keegan. They basically mention like everybody in the base is dead. Oh no, this is day because the doors on the garage open up, revealing the vehicle Denton has been building. It's a tri-wheeled, four-wheeled vehicle. So you got four-wheel hubs, but each wheel hub has a triangle of three wheels.
yes. You steer it because it articulates in the middle like construction equipment.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like there's no axle weak point in the front or the rear. There's just drive axles. There's no steering components.
Okay.
So it steers by articulating in the middle, kind of like an earth mover would, which works if you're going 10 miles an hour. I'm not sure what that's like going 60, but
yeah, I don't know if they sped up the footage for this. This thing for its size looks like it goes pretty fast. So
I think it weighed like because it's again it's a fun. It's kind of like the Batman tumbler. Like
yeah.
it's a functional vehicle. Yeah, I don't think you could drive it like cross country, but it seems like it is functional in the scenes they have it in. But I'm not sure how fast it goes. But yeah, everything it's doing, like that's how it functions. And it was based on military blueprints, believe it or not.
Okay.
They were looking at like it was like what do they call that logistics support vehicle that could do and this was 60s 70s tech.
Yeah.
Like what's a way we could move stuff, because now we do like 10-wheel drive giant like dragon wagon type vehicles with diesel engines in them. Back then they could only get so much power out of so many engines, and so they came up with things like this. They never made it off the blueprint board, but this guy, there was a guy, Jeffries, actually made this thing work. It doesn't look like it. They show it in the TV show or in the movie inside. It's very plain.
Okay.
And I think it only goes like 30 miles an hour. I think that's top speed. But yeah, those wheels do rotate around and stuff.
Yeah, they stay in place, but when it kind of hits something that gives it a hitch, it just basically like rolls over like it's stepping over it, and then it just keeps going. So
and they do really work like that. There's a 390 Ford big block V8 in there, and there's an Allison basically semi truck transmission there's two of them being powered.
Okay.
But the way it's geared, I think it'd only go like 30 miles an hour.
Okay.
But it's but that engine's really working too. But it does actually function the way they show it does. Is they put that weird vinyl in the middle, because you see that out as that hides like the articulation point, how it's steering.
All right. Okay.
Because in the TV show they show them using steering wheels. In actuality, you would do that more like a couple of tank levers. You'd like go left. Hydraulic cylinder would just tilt it, twist the body.
It's got gun pods on the side that never get used. So that was just, or maybe it was filmed and never shot, but or maybe it was filmed and never used. It's got some rockets on top, which they use a couple of times.
Yeah.
Which I thought they had a mistake here because they cut to like the vehicle coming out of the garage again, but that's just like, oh, there's two of them.
Yeah, they only built one, but they had to shoot it as if
okay. I think there's better ways that
$50,000 to build that thing. It actually is a stainless steel body. They showed them building it up. It's not. They couldn't mock it up as wood.
Yeah.
Because it would break, so they actually had to make the stainless steel frame and body, and
it's
quite a bit of work for a for a prop.
I mean, it's the most impressive thing from this movie. So
because it actually is really what there is some miniature work with it, like when it's in water and stuff.
Yeah.
Does it float? And he's like, it weighs 20,000 pounds. Couldn't possibly float.
Denton invites Keegan and Taryn to join him, so they do so. It's like, oh, what else are we gonna do? Which no, I mentioned it later. Denton takes down the American flag at the base. It's night. They have two landmasters, and they kind of work in tandem with radio communication. Tanner's Denton's navigator, and he says they're going to Albany because there's like a radio broadcast that broadcasts like at the same time, but it's on it's a recorded message, so he doesn't know if like, well, they got power at least, so there's something there. So they don't know if anybody's there or just like some backup thing has never gone away. This is also where you get mention of Damnation Alley, which I forget. Like, can you describe that? Is that just you're saying they're going that way because there's lower radiation there?
Yeah, supposedly somehow, probably from satellites. It's not explained, but they it's like a path you can thread from essentially from California all the way to Albany, New York,
Yeah.
because you have to go like through Salt Lake City, through the different places, and then through the Midwest, and then you will find your way to Albany.
Okay.
But it's a place like there's they don't have to worry. It says they don't have to worry about the radiation in those places.
Okay.
So
Um, and we get mention of the vehicles being a military secret, but like you said, like he built this from scratch. It wasn't just existing. But they had the blueprints, so you could do it from. So, Denton lets Tanner take the wheel, and he like lets loose with it, which like again they make this thing seem like it's nimble, which I don't know if they just sped up the footage or whatever, but Denton doesn't even seem worried. He's like, yeah, try your best. You're not gonna mess this thing up. Um, then Denton turns on the assisted autopilot because he like dials a location into the like Texas Instrument calculator, which I don't know if that's like, hey, that was lying around, or if that's meant to be the input device. I don't know. But there's like a little green light, and basically or I guess it's never shown, but it'll go red and green, and basically, if it's green, you're on the right path. If it's red, you steer back till it's green. So it's like, oh, that's a pretty simple thing. So
yeah,
he makes it seem like it's an autopilot, but really it's just kind of like a assist to the driver. So, Tanner flips to the radio and he doesn't hear anything, so he just starts singing over like the CB radio or whatever. Which is like, yeah, I think, yes, Perry's the other stick in the mud. He's like, Denton's like partner here and the other landmaster. They built these cars together. Which like Perry's like, yeah, like get off the radio, it's he's still because like Keegan and Tanner are like they're not military anymore, so they're rogues, they don't care about order anymore, that's kind of what they pose here, but they're just basically it's like, well, I'd rather be happy in the apocalypse than like have all this unnecessary rule and order. So, Perry sees some.
just for giggles, I went to Google Maps,
Yeah.
did the Barstow to Albany run. Essentially, it follows the path they're taking.
Okay.
It would take 39 hours.
Huh. Okay.
Freeway speeds, but yeah, it would take you through. Uh, you wouldn't go to Salt Lake City, but I think they're having to go there for fuel. But it would be on the way if you wanted it to be, and yeah, you'd go through Nebraska, and you can go through Kansas too if you wanted to. But yeah, it does show it. It goes through Detroit, and then through New York, and then yeah, you'd be in Albany, New York. The only problem I have with that is it's not wildly far away from New York City, which you're like, New York City didn't get nuked. It's like, people. Maybe that depends on which way the wind.
It was a hurricane there at the time, and it kept the nuke radiation away.
Yeah. But it is funny. It's like, yeah, you could actually conceivably go that route.
Perry sees something on the radar, and there's just like tornadoes out there, or it's just kind of these black tornadoes or something. I don't know.
There's like 5 of them. Like,
yeah.
dancing around.
I don't know if they're meant to be tornadoes or more like, what do they call those, dust devils or something? But there is
they seem consistently destructive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perry says it's protocol to dig in, then Tanner decides he's going to go through it. And then Keegan and Perry's landmasters, as they're about to dig in, which we never see the actual dig in function, so I don't know what that means. Just stay still. Because I know we have like these storm chasing vehicles that literally like auger and bury themselves in the ground so they can get like hit by a tornado and see all the cool stuff on the inside. But that's not what's going on here. I don't.
Yeah, they seem to like fire some outriggers.
Okay, they do. Okay, all right.
trying to rotate the wheels, but it doesn't. It seems like they just get flipped over.
Yeah, they get flipped over immediately, which doesn't make this landmaster look like it's worth anything. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
it's that easy to take it out, huh?
yeah. Maybe lower the center of gravity on that thing a little bit.
So, um, Perry dies just unceremoniously. Tanner didn't make it through, and Denton isn't happy because he's like, we got to follow rules, or we're all gonna die. He's not wrong, but
But also, if they had stayed and dug in, they would have got flipped over too.
yeah,
But
presumably.
the important rule, though, to remember was if you had your seatbelt on, you wouldn't have got your neck broken.
Yeah,
You're talking about digging in from like it's like, well, the first thing to do is stay strapped in
yeah.
because your body bouncing around inside of that thing is what's going to kill you, not the tornado. But remember, kids, wear the seatbelt.
We cut to it's the next day or hours later. The landmasters are trying to call each other, but they don't hear each other. And then Keegan, I think he sees the other landmaster on video, and he just fires off a rocket,
Yeah.
and it explodes near the other landmaster. Which they just see that explosion, like I think it came from there. Like they don't feel like they're being attacked or anything like that. It's like, huh, weird. Let's go look at it. So yeah, they head for that. Keegan has a leg wound, but he says he'll be all right. So he's just he says like which way, like I don't know which way I can bend it, but then he's just like I'll be all right. So then it's not a problem. But he's like Perry's dead, and it's like so they transfer supplies to Landmaster 1 and continue on, which I guess that's more like editing wise is easier because they only built one of these, so that just makes
You don't have to do that with mirror shooting and stuff.
They drive on to hear a broadcast from Albany, New York. Denton says that message has been broadcasting the same message for 2 years. And he says, I don't know what we're going to find, but getting there is the only way we're going to know. So, then they get to Las Vegas. They find it covered in sand. Like nobody's there. The crew go into the casino. It's also full of sand, but seemingly has power somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I never did get that one.
I mean, I guess like,
They do say, "Oh, the power never goes out in Vegas." It's like, no, there's some kind of infinite power supply you need to capture and understand.
I mean, I guess the Hoover Dam could still be going on. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Stop.
They start playing the slots for the hell of it. They hit a jackpot. Denton joins in, and we hear this kind of like interesting, like the crowd noise starts building up, but obviously nobody's there, so it's kind of like it's all in their head. And then the crew spot a lady on the balcony, and like you can see that they haven't seen a lady in a couple of years. She comes running down and jumps into the arms of like everyone, because at first like Tanner's like, oh, of course, like Denton knows this lady, and then it turns out like she doesn't know any of them whatsoever. So this is Janice. She was like a songwriter who came to Vegas when the world ended, and she like there's like some like casino owner that was like basically taking advantage of her, saying like, yeah, you're gonna be a big singer. Like, they don't. I mean, I guess that implies they had some relationship, but they don't say.
Oh
that.
no, it says they do. She said I picked the price.
Oh, okay.
We're in the price was being paid in the fallout shelter of the casino.
Oh, okay.
That's why they lived, and everyone else like they hung out down there. But she said that the guy running the
Oh,
casino,
I didn't know he had a fallout shelter. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Now, so, okay.
And then the guy that had the casino or was running the casino, he like couldn't accept it and he killed himself.
Oh, I thought she said he had a heart attack. Okay, never mind.
Oh, maybe it was that. I don't know.
They just have a heart attack in the bunker, and then it's like, I gotta move out.
Let me see if I can find it in my notes.
Because I just like, well, I missed that. Time to continue forward. I'm not gonna go back and get this. I thought she said he had a heart attack. I thought Billy said his dad died from 2 broken legs. He watched his dad die from 2 broken legs. Yeah, that's kind of all the implied deaths that I know of.
Yeah,
from the other characters. And Billy didn't have a mom. He just had a dad or something.
It was something like that.
Or I guess his mom could have died in the explosion. So, But yeah, she talks about like hearing like planes and cars driving around, and then one day they just stopped. Like this is after the world ended.
Yeah.
Um, so like I don't know if that meant like from the casino or from like the fallout bunker she was in or something. Um, so yeah, they go back out to the landmaster and like a radiated thunderstorm is going on, which again that just that's just what's happening, and it's cool it's happening. And then they leave Vegas. Denton makes a shower schedule, which he makes like a big point of it, and it's like kind of pointless, other than like, hey, there's going to be a naked lady in the landmaster at some point. uh, um, so then they pull into Salt Lake City to look for gas. I don't think it got hit by a nuke, but there's like no concern for radiation, so
Yeah.
they see they see vehicles and like all the upholstery like is eaten out on the cars, but also like the skeletons in the cars are like polished, and so
Yeah.
like Keegan's worried about that, and it's like, well, they've been here for like
Tires on the car either.
yeah yeah
Rubber or any kind of polyvinyl, everything. It's all gone.
yeah
It's actually one of the scariest concepts in the movie, but it's just the follow through on it is kind of silly.
yeah yeah. We see more roaches around the city, and they're like, yeah, I'm like, well, these are going to be involved somehow. Keegan tries to stomp on one of them, and they don't get squashed. They said so. They apparently have like some sort of armor plating on them or something.
Yeah, they're using the creepiest cockroaches in movies are always these. They're called Madagascarian hissing cockroaches,
Okay.
and I've seen one. I actually got to watch it, and like, yeah, if you touch it, it does hiss like a cat. It has like a bellows in it, and it like blows air through it, and it sounds like a cat hissing at you. And they are very tough.
Huh.
They're armored cockroaches. You import them here. You can only import the males, and they're easy to sex. You know, the males and the females look different
Yeah.
because you can't bring a breeding pair into America because it would be a nightmare. Cockroach is just the worst kind ever. They're not cannibalistic though. I don't even know if they can bite you, but they are tough. And I guess in the thing when the cockroaches start attacking him is like, well, they've been eating tires all the time, so they just bounce when he steps on them. I don't know if that's the case, but
yeah.
yeah, they're apparently mutated killer cockroaches.
Yeah.
But yeah, they use these in movies all the time because they look huge.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you tap them, it's like like that's not right. That's why they're called hissing cockroaches. But then when you find out how the mechanism works, how it's just like it's not doing it through its mouth and lungs. It's like a bellow.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's kind of weird. Why did that evolve? It's like a fire bellow or something.
Yeah, it's trying to evolve into the like artillery bug from Starship Troopers.
Mm-hmm.
They put a hose into a fuel tank and try to get gas. Tanner and Janice like go to stores to go like shopping. Which there's a funny thing where he's like, "What do you have that crowbar for?" And he's like, "Well, you got to bring a credit card when you go shopping." So he's like,
I'm surprised. Yeah, so I'm surprised the guy Denton wasn't so one-dimensional. It's like that's stealing, Tanner. It's stealing if there's no economy. Like they should this weird like
I'm stealing gas for purposes. So.
Yeah.
Roaches start appearing all over the place and are attacking Keegan. Tanner and Janice hop on a bike to leave out of there in the department store. So they're and Keegan gets in a car to try to avoid the roaches, but they're starting to fill the car. And then Denton gets the landmaster close to the car, hops out the back with a fire extinguisher, and is like trying to the freeze him away. And then he opens the door, and then just Keegan's just eaten to death by roaches. So that's a very unceremonious death for him. And so,
that's a horrible death too.
But it's also like, oh yeah, he kind of gets killed by he kills himself, but he kind of leads to it by a bug killing him in Wrath of Khan. So I was like, I wasn't expecting that. It's like twice bugs do you in. So
yeah, this is the Paul Winfield curse of like weird because those things kind of look like hissing cockroaches too.
Yeah. Denton drives in the city to go after Tanner and Janice. Tanner and Janice make like a ramp out of a door to a parking garage, which like that would make sense. You know, he could do
Yeah.
that. The Lancaster bust. Well, so they have the weird like you got a bunch of roaches, but then you have like these weird blobs of roaches that are just kind of like carpets of you like I don't know mass to insinuate like a bunch of roaches coming at you at once.
Yeah, they
Kind
were
of,
basically rubber roaches on fishing nets that they pulled with strings.
yes.
And again, this was something you can tell. Like, oh, they did live shots of the hissing cockroaches, like when they were like on the mannequin and stuff, and the woman screamed. It's like, yeah, they had some live stuff, but then you could tell they were just had some stuntman driving through a building. Later on, they put in these cockroaches on these nets being pulled. It's like they actually just should have not done that.
Yeah.
Just like use your imagination. Yeah, there's billions of cockroaches. They're coming out of the walls, but that's what they did.
The Lancaster just drives through a hole and drives through the side of the parking garage. Oh, I keep calling it Lancaster. Yeah, I wrote Lancaster, so that
That's
it's. I mean Landmaster, but I'll say Lancaster a bunch here because I wrote both. So
Burt Lancaster.
yeah, it just drives through a wall. The bike rides into the back of the Landmaster on its ramp, which they never have to deal with these cockroaches ever again, which is I guess good because it'd be I guess gross to keep having to like keep coming back to like them, because presumably you can't just squish them to death, and we don't know how to kill them other than a fire extinguisher makes them kind of like scurry away maybe. So
Yeah, that's like a CO2 fire extinguisher. Yeah, freeze them.
um so yeah, so instead of just going out the hole he made the first time, he just blows another hole in a different wall and then goes out that way. So, um, yeah, and presumably they need to be careful because these roaches eat tires, so they could be eating the tires of the Landmaster. So they got to get out of there. So that being the end of Act 2, we got Act 3. The Landmaster pulls up to a town. They find a kid there. This is Jackie Earl Haley. This is like a year after Bad News Bears, so. He's like an in need kid actor at the time. So
He's a known product.
yeah. But she does a pretty good job here for basically like showing up in the third act and becoming kind of an interesting and all unto himself character. So
Yeah,
maybe the most interesting character in the movie. So
possibly you know more about him.
yes.
I mean, what's her name, Janice, like the French lady. She's interesting too. But she's also kind of becomes like the damsel in distress the whole time.
Yes.
It's like, no, I want to see her going at well, she does try to go at a guy with a gun. She just misses.
Yeah.
But it's
Well, ultimately, what it leads to is like she draws them into the building to get blown up by Denton with the rocket launchers. So it's very GI Joe move, I guess. So.
Yeah. She does gain some autonomy, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like her whole character arc is like she's a lady in the apocalypse, which I know that's going to be a harrowing thing. So luckily, she found the the only men that are willing to let her be a human being. So
My favorite, like helping a woman who's being sexually assaulted in a good guy, bad guy way, is that scene in Hold Back the Dark where they're in Iraq or wherever. And the guy goes in and he catches another American. He's an American soldier, and he goes in and he catches an American soldier raping a woman, and he shoots him in the kneecaps, and he stabs his knife in the desk and looks at the woman and points at it and just walks out of the room, like screaming in the background, and he's just looking around for someone else to shoot. Well, that's one way to do it because he's a very evil character,
yeah.
but he has this kind of weird sense of like, well, you shouldn't have done that.
Now that's evil.
Yeah.
The kid hides and throws a rock at Tanner, which I don't know if this is meant to like call to Bad News Bears. Like, was he a pitcher? I never saw Bad News. Is he like the pitcher or something there? He's supposed to be a good baseball player, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So I wonder if that was
kind of like kid weapons that would actually be very effective.
Yeah.
It's like throwing a rock well is something like a very young person does, but it's also like, yeah, you get hit in the face.
And In the apocalypse, it's like infinite ammo essentially. So
Yeah, not everything's rubble. Throwing like a golf ball sized rock at someone's head, there's an even chance you're going to kill them if you throw enough. I mean, it will work.
They chase after the kid for some reason, so I guess to see what he knows. Tanner tackles and wrestles the kid, which again is weird. And then like Denton kind of just shows up and like walks over and just kind of like, "Hey, stop that!" So I guess he projects more of a father figurelyness here because he's got kind of gray hair and stuff.
I thought he was going to shoot his gun in the air to make him stop, but he ended up doing that because no one's making bullets anymore.
Yeah, weirdly, they feature this gun on his hip like a bunch, and like he only shoots at the end, right? Oh wait, no, Tanner shoots it to shoot the hillbillies and the landmaster. That's right.
Right.
And then at the end, he fires it off celebratory. So that's the only time they use that gun. So
it's a Smith and Wesson Model 19.
It's a 38.
I think it's a 357.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let me look at it. It does not say. It just says it's a Model 19. No, 357 Magnum.
Okay. All right. So we cut to like they have food with the kid, and while he gives his backstory, he says his dad fell off a cliff and broke his legs, and he stayed with his dad till he died, which just seems sad. So
that's horrible. Yeah.
Which I don't like. So he must have just died from bleeding to death, right? Or just internal bleeding or something like that.
I don't know. It's like me and my wife were talking about the apocalypse once, and she says like the most valuable thing if you're going to be functional would be some kind of penicillin. It'd be worth more than bullets. I'm like, oh, why is that? And she goes, well, you're not going to be shooting constantly, but you will be working on things. And if you get a cut in your hand and you don't have antibiotics, you'll die of an infection in like 2 weeks. It's like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially if there's not like sewage isn't being treated and there's crap in the air. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
The most valuable thing is penicillin. It's like, so start hoarding it.
So presumably Billy knows how to like talk and read, but he also his talk kind of has like a primitive thing to it. At least here, he's like, "Oh, it's been 3 moons since this happened," which I don't know if that was like, "Oh, is this the apocalypse children talk now?" But then for the rest of the movie, he's just like a snarky teenager or whatever. So
yeah, well, you got to think though, like think if it was us and like no one's printing calendars anymore.
Yeah.
Well, after that year's calendar's up, I don't know how long it's either because no one's making, because I know they're offset every year and they move up and down, and it's like, yeah,
that's true. Yeah, and like presumably in this world with the Earth off its axis, like you have no idea what seasons are anymore or anything like that. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I didn't know that. Like I was talking to Dad about this. Something it's like I learned that like time is actually, we base that on orbital mechanics, because it's the only thing like consistent enough that goes on around us. And but when you start throwing gravity and time stuff in there, then time becomes meaningless. And it's like, oh no. So yeah, so if you're not,
time is relative to your position.
Yeah. our system of timekeeping is based on the orbital mechanics we observe in our own solar system.
Yeah,
that's as far as we can go with time. That's why it's always weird when they talk about the Voyager probes. It's like they are out beyond the known. We don't know what's going on.
Remember, Nathan, we're living in the middle of an explosion.
Yeah.
That happened billions of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still spreading.
Yeah. As far as we know, I've heard another theory about we're living inside of a black hole before it collapses or something like that, or after it's exploded. Yeah.
It's just the result of the ultimate singularity.
Yeah.
The universe was consumed by black holes. And we have to sit around and wait for that to happen.
Let's see here. So yeah, he agrees to go with him if Tanner teaches him how to ride the motorcycle. So he's like, yeah, sure, buddy. So we kind of got our vague family unit here where it's like Denton's the father, Janice is the mother, or girlfriend. Because it seems like Tanner and Janice are going to be an item, and then like Denton's jealous about that. So maybe Denton's more of the grandfather.
That could be.
But also, like, Tanner's also kind of like the brother slash father to Billy, and then Billy's just the kid. So he's Billy the kid, literally. So, um, so yeah, they talk about the world being tilted on its axis, which they have to explain that to Billy because he has no concept of all this stuff. But they say like if it gets corrected, all the storms could stop, and then Billy says well, nothing ever stops on its own, which I guess is like poignant for a child in the apocalypse. But then, ironically, that's what happened. And so they let Billy drive.
Me.
They let Billy drive the Landmaster, which is just fun. It's you always think this is like a delicate thing and it needs to be managed, which it is. It is later on, but they just do let everybody drive this thing willy nilly. So we also get the it's the 70s, but we get the electric razor while driving, which even in the 70s that was a thing about hooking an electric razor up to the car, the cigarette lighter thing, and then you know businessmen so busy they need to shave on the drive over to work and stuff like that. So
Oh, one thing we forgot to talk about so far, the soundtrack in this movie is actually kind of cool.
oh, it
It's a
is
Jerry Goldsmith soundtrack.
really okay. This might be the worst Jerry Goldsmith soundtrack.
Yeah, it's kind of the wonkiest, but it also
I,
sort of works with the movie.
I guess maybe I'm remembering the bad parts or something because like when I say it has TV energy, like that's across the board. The music has TV energy to it, but I get there are moments where you're just looking at the sky. It's more operatic and intriguing.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll remember the goofy musical parts to this movie. So
Now, when they're first driving the Landmasters into the desert, it has that kind of driving soundtrack.
oh okay,
But it has those like electric, like that futuristic electric kind of stingers in it.
yeah okay,
Sounds like a mixture of orchestral stuff and then like some science fiction stuff.
okay, all right. I guess I just didn't pay attention to it that enough, and I only remembered the bad parts. So
Yeah, I just remember because I remember thinking because I remember hearing like Robert Wise was at one time attached to direct this. It's like, oh, that would have been interesting. That's the guy who they did Star Trek: The Motion Picture,
right, okay,
and it's like, oh yeah, but they did keep him on to do the soundtrack. So I generally remember it like it works for it seems to elevate the movie above itself a little bit because
yeah.
the soundtrack is sort of cool in some sequences.
They find another gas station to try to get gas. Which there is like this unspoken thing when like Keegan's talking to Terry about like all the things it can do, and it's like, "What's the gas mileage on it?" And he just doesn't comment on it.
Doesn't mention that.
So it's like, oh, it's bad. It's okay. So
Yeah.
that's its one weakness, that and tornadoes. So
Now, where they're stopping right now supposedly is somewhere between Kansas and Iowa. Oh, it's still in the desert, so that's kind of like establishing like, oh yeah, this is what the world is like now.
yeah.
It's a desert.
Um, Janice and Billy heads in. She finds a piano and starts playing. And then a family with like dirt and swords shows up, and they hold them up with shotguns. And like, yeah, this guy, the main like hillbilly here actually does a good job for like being suddenly introduced as like a bad guy. Like he has an
Yeah.
interesting delivery to stuff, and he has like this good line here. He says, "All the dead are dead, and all the living are dying." So it's like that's a good line. So, um, the main guy takes Denton's gun, and he says the boy and the lady can stay while like they show off the vehicle to the other guys. Um, so like they all leave, and so the guy tells her to play piano, and he sits down and listens and watches creepily. He tries to order Billy around, but then he just jumps out the window. So it's kind of implied there's going to be 2 sexual assaults here. So, but
Yeah, that is kind of weird. It's
uh,
like it's a little rough for this time.
I mean, nothing really. I mean, nothing is shown or really happens. But what's implied is like what's to your imagination. It's like, well, it's the apocalypse, so only the worst things can happen. So
Yeah. They're not going to sit around and read hymns from the Bible. Some bad stuff coming.
but there's also like, it's finally like a human adversary they have to go against. which this late in in the movie, it's just kind of weird. He gets close and grabs Janice. Billy grabs a rock and comes back in, acting all innocent. It's like, "Can I get a sucker, Mister?" And then he just knocks the guy out with a rock. Billy goes to the landmaster with a ruse, and he gets a gun to Tanner. The Hicks are mad that they're thinking the main guy's having sex with Janice. It's like, well, he's just doing this in the wrong order, and they turn around and you get shot by Tanner. And then Janice is in the building. She has a gun. I think she shoots at one of the Hicks coming after her, and then she just runs away. And then as she gets out of the building, Denton gets in a Lancaster and just launches the missile at the building and blows it up and kills those two guys. And then they go grab Janice, and she gets knocked over by the rocket blast. So, and again, like, the presumption is they don't get gas, but they get somewhere. They never run out of gas in this movie, so it's an implied problem that they never have to solve. So,
Well, it's assumed that every other gas stop they're not attacking hillbillies. So.
Yeah. So yeah, they continue on the journey, but now the Landmaster needs maintenance and has a bad sound going on. Tanner and Billy send her into like a blue stormlight cloud while Denton works on the Landmaster. We cut to the next day. They get to Detroit. Landmaster's making a racket. They pull into a junkyard looking for parts, and this is where they mention that like the Landmaster can be fixed by just everyday truck parts essentially. Which I don't know if
how that vehicle actually works is because what's happening is the main drive gear. What's that called in the not the worm gear, spider gear, the main output gear in the rear axle.
Okay.
It got chipped somehow going through the wall in Salt Lake City, and it's just worn down.
Yeah.
But in the reality of how this vehicle works, they could just turn that axle off and run off the other one.
Okay. Yeah.
Itself. But it's because like it gives them a reson to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the vehicle's still moving when they park it.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just fix that, Billy hears like, I guess, a stranger noise than normal.
Yeah.
So, but no one else seems to care. The music picks up as another storm rolls in. Tanner loses Billy as the storm rolls in. He gets on his bike to look for him, which we're implying that like a stack of cars is gonna like fall over on him, but that's not what happens. We start seeing a shot of the globe and the storm, so it's like a bigger storm than normal. Tanner finds Billy, wants to grab a sidecar and attach it to the motorbike. He's like, "Hey, we gotta get out of here." So they abandon that and they get the bike back. They get back to the Landmaster. Vehicles just start falling from the sky. So,
yeah.
And then we see like a shot of water, and I'm like, is it a tsunami? So this is very confusing until like they get to the model getting hit by the water. It's like, wait, are these things happening at the same time? Because it doesn't. They play on it very long, but like it's like, okay, it is the Lake Michigan has become a tsunami. So, the wave finally hits the Landmaster and starts rolling it, and then we get the model Landmaster gets some work in as it bubbles around in water, which again, that makes sense. You wouldn't want to try to throw this thing in water just for the hell of it. So, and then they take a good while to open the top hatch. Like they need to go grab a crowbar to get it open.
Yeah, apparently a car fell on it and damaged.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. It's just floating in the lake right now, and then they get the hatch open. And then they see blue sky, and so it's like, oh, the world's fixed. And then they float the Landmaster to land.
Yes, it's tri-wheels just start
paddling,
paddling around to like move it forward. Which I guess I forget how they filmed that. There was something about making of, because they floated it in something.
Okay.
But actually up on blocks, and it was just they had the wheels freewheeling like
right,
that.
Okay. Then we cut to like, I don't know. It seems like it's the next day, but it's just also just bright out, and finally the sky's normal. And Denton's fixing the Landmaster parts, and Tanner's fixing his bike. And they suddenly hear a radio broadcast. It's from Albany, and it doesn't seem to be a pre-recorded message. And it talks about how like we're leaving 2 minutes for like return broadcast or whatever, something like that, so people can try to like call in and like with messages. And then Denton sends a message to the radio station, and then they get a direction to head in. And then Tanner and Billy hop on the bike and head off to Albany, which then you see them ride into town, and it's seemingly a normal town. And the streets start filling with people as triumphant music plays, and they get to town, and like everything's good. Nothing makes sense, but now everything's good. So,
You people live through the apocalypse, and you're just inviting strangers into your community.
and also, I don't.
These hillbillies we met.
Also, like I have no idea the time period in between, because it's like, well, they were just swimming in Lake Michigan, and now they're in Albany, New York. Like it seems like that was like 30 minutes ago. It's like, well, that's impossible unless the
That would be hours.
so,
If they had freeways to use.
yeah. No, but they're paddling on a lake. So
Yeah, where'd they go? Did they like somehow paddle all the way to like Niagara Falls? Like, how did they get out?
I don't know, like, yeah, was it St. Lawrence, or what's the thing that goes through?
St. Lawrence Seaway, I think.
Yeah, is there maybe somehow they went through that?
It doesn't really matter.
No.
But I'm gonna look. Let's see. If you are paddling, let's see. It'd be Lake. I don't know, because if they were in a Detroit salvage yard, they would have got sucked into Lake Erie.
Okay.
And they could have rode that to Buffalo.
Okay.
But they would still have to go. Yeah, they could have rode that to Buffalo and then got off and got through Rochester and Syracuse. And,
Okay.
and up in Albany.
Yeah, it's not important, but as long as it's possible.
It's possible. Anything's possible.
So yeah, that's the end of Damnation Alley, an expensive movie that was taken over by many different things and out of people's hands. And I don't know if a good movie was ever going to be made out of it, but they didn't make the best movie they could. So.
Oh no, this movie is definitely not. It's not perfect by any means. It's fondly remembered.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, for like a 10-year-old me, it's like, oh, nuclear war and cool vehicles. It's like I'm still that person to this day.
Yeah.
So it made an impression on me for sure.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like, this is silly. It's also vaguely cool.
Yeah. And again, like the vehicle in this movie is an achievement. So.
Yeah.
Well, we're sending a probe into space containing the supercut of scenes from the imperfect collection of movies that make the Verhoeven Effect. Nathan, what one scene from this movie we chucking into space?
Oh, we got to send the scenes where the landmasters roll out.
Okay.
Because that explains everything that's going to happen in the movie and everything that's important in the movie. We got to have the base blow up and the landmasters roll out.
It's the most important part of the movie. It's the most important character in the movie, Nathan. So.
Yeah, it's the most developed character.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened to the landmaster?
It lost its brother, and you can find us on Letterboxd, username VHE. 1 out of 5 stars. What are we giving Damnation Alley?
I'm going to give Damnation Alley 3 stars for childhood nostalgia.
Okay. All right. That seems kind of generous. All right.
Yeah, because actually this is a 2 or a 1 star normally because I remember it fondly. And it never seems to take itself too seriously. Everyone involved is kind of like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like a let's do laundry movie.
Yeah.
You walk around, you come back. Oh, they're doing a thing, and you walk away and you come back.
See, I want to remake this movie with like $100 million budget and like David Mamet doing the dialogue. Just having Spartan dialogue.
Christopher Nolan directing.
Yeah.
I thought so. I guess I found this out the other day. I forget how it works. Because I remember there being a weird thing with Christopher Nolan, and like he's British, right? But he like lived in Chicago, didn't he? And so that was true. And so I guess his parents moved to Chicago, and then they had his brother, and so his brother grew up in Chicago, So his brother has a Chicago accent.
Oh, that must be weird.
Because Jonathan Nolan is like running the Fallout TV series, and they had
Okay.
him come on stage for a video game thing, and he was talking about it. And I was watching on Giant Bomb. They're like, "Hey, shh, listen to this fucker." It's like that's Christopher Nolan's brother. He doesn't sound British at all because he grew up in Chicago. So.
Is it a Christian Bale thing? It's like, no, he never grew up there. It's like, oh, okay.
And then one of the guys he used to work on MythBusters for Giant Bomb, and there was like he said he knew a crew guy where like the crew guy's parents are from Alabama, but then they moved to New Zealand, and so he has a New Zealand accent, and his parents are from Alabama. So,
Yeah, that's interesting. This is my son. I don't know if you do a New Zealand accent. I imagine it's just an Australian accent, but weirder.
yeah, just kind of more like sardonic and chill.
Yeah,
Whatever the Flight of the Conchords guys are doing. So,
yeah.
or I don't know. There's been a New Zealand boom of TV shows and media. So, because was it Taika Waititi or whatever? He's from New Zealand.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, you can find us at veroeffect.com. There we have listener support. You can support a monthly stipend on 99 cents, 49 and 9.99, cancel any time. You can rate our podcast whatever you want on whatever platform of choice on whatever platform of choice you have. You can rate our podcast whatever you want, but the only thing the algorithm listens to is the highest rating. So remember, confuse the algorithm, confuse the AI, give us the highest rating. So you are a part.
Don't let the largest invest Ponzi scheme ruin our internet.
Give us favor to confuse a favor. A boon in our favor is a fight for the future.
Yeah.
You can find us at Twitter at Verhoeven Effect. You can find us at Blue Sky Social at Verhoeven Effect, and you can find us on Facebook at Verhoeven Effect, and you can find us at YouTube at American Greed Factory. You can watch this and that show live and unedited. So for the Verhoeven Effect podcast, I'm Conlon.
And I'm Nathan.